I know. Hey friends, my name is Julie and welcome back to my farm. I have been planning to post an update video and I thought this morning would be a great opportunity because it's the start of lambing season. We had our first 3 lambs born this morning, 2 from Darcy here and 1 from Althea. We've got 2 boys and 1 girl. Now, temperatures have been dipping down into the teens overnight pretty consistently the last couple of weeks. But cold temperatures aren't a huge deal for lambs as long as their mother licks them dry pretty quickly, they get up and moving, and they get nursing within the first few hours of life. They stay pretty warm. They're born with a little bit of brown fat in their viscera that does help insulate them. And as soon as they get that warm mama's milk, that really warms them internally. Now, we also make sure that we bed down a stall really well and we separate the mom and babies so they have time to just relax, recover, and bond. It's also a great way for us to keep a really close eye on them. I can make sure that everybody's nursing, everybody's active, that the mamas have passed their placentas, which they have. These are both very experienced mothers. They're doing a great job. They really don't need any help from me. All I did was do a quick health check on everybody. I stripped the teats on the moms, but I could tell that they had already been nursed on. I'm gonna dip the navels of the babies in iodine. And other than that, we're just gonna let the moms do their thing and just keep a close eye on everybody. This is just the start of the season. I'm expecting 27 ewes to deliver this year, which is a little fewer than we've done in the past. We're trying to scale down the sheep operation just a little bit, but there'll still be plenty of babies for us to introduce you to. This pretty brown and white one is the little girl. Yeah, hi, sweetie. They really just want to be warm when they're first born, so they're so snuggly. They have no fear of you yet. Both of these moms, as you can tell, are pretty comfortable with me. They've been around for a while. They know me. They trust me. Darcy is actually one of my friendliest ewes. We've been through a couple births together, so she doesn't love that I'm holding her baby. Sheep actually have a really hard time looking up for things. They don't ever expect something to be up, especially a lamb. It should be on the ground. So she's busy looking on the ground for her baby. But put her down. I'll show you the brother. Oh, feisty. So this little black and white guy is a little boy. He's about the same weight. The little girl might be a little bit heavier. We don't typically weigh our lambs, but I do like to feel them every day. I feel their bellies, make sure they're full of milk. And I like to see this kind of spunkiness. If he's got energy to be feisty, then he's probably got a good amount of milk in him. And then we got this big boy. He's a handsome, classic white lamb. He pretty much looks identical to Althea's baby from last year. His name was Grizz. He ended up being one of our bottle babies, which really wasn't her fault. I have a video all about what happened there you can go back and look at. I know. But he is definitely the heaviest and thickest little boy. Which makes sense because he's a single. So he had the womb and all of the resources all to himself. And now he'll have all of her milk to himself. So these single boys usually grow really nice and big. Yeah. All right, I'll put you back. Darcy. Okay, I'm going to leave these alone and we'll go look at the rest of the flock. We do have both these girls in one stall right now, which is not ideal. There can be mix-ups, or one ewe could be mean to the lambs that aren't hers. Luckily, these moms are chill and they both know whose is whose, and they're being really nice to each other and all the babies. We were a tiny bit unprepared, although I did say to Daryl just yesterday, we could have lambs at any time now. A couple of the girls are looking really close. And then, of course, 24 hours later, 3 lambs. But we did have the one stall all ready to go. And we just kind of throw these up with pallets. They get replaced every couple years as the pallets wear out. So it'll take no time at all just to throw another one up, and we'll get these girls split up this afternoon. Because it's so cold, everything looks really dreary. All the sheep are all puffed up, trying to stay warm and just devouring hay. We're going through a bale every 2 to 3 days right now. But that is how ruminants stay warm. They fill their bellies up, they ruminate or ferment that hay, and then that keeps them warm internally. All right, ladies, I think we'll be instating nightly udder checks from now on. Be spending a lot of quality time together. Hi, Junie. Juniper is actually doing great with the cold. She just stays active. When it's sunny out, she lays out in the sun, warms up. Today we're not getting a lot of sun though, girl. June. Hey, sweetie. Cypress is about to turn 9, and he's actually doing really well. His joints have not been bothering him nearly as much lately, but you can tell this cold weather, he does not enjoy it. He's often tucking that tail, and when the ground is frozen first thing in the morning, you'll see him picking his feet up. But he still gets out for about an hour in the morning, and then he pretty much wants to chill under a blanket on the couch after that. Right, Bubba? It's blanket weather. Hey, big pigs. So this is the group of pigs that we're finishing. This giant boy here is about to go to the processor in just a few days. So we're taking the last 3 piglets from Amy's last litter, and then we've got, I think, 7 more in here that we're finishing that will be ready before long. We've got some chickens cohabitating with the pigs. Just fine. They get any grain that they miss. They pick through the poop. So we're actually trying out a new processor. Because we sell our pork and a lot of our other meat retail, we have to go through a USDA processing facility to have the pigs slaughtered, butchered, and packaged. And they also dictate the sausage flavors that we can have and the ingredients in that sausage. So the processor that we've been using we like, but we're pretty limited on varieties that don't have some kind of additive in them that we're not crazy about, like soybean oil or corn syrup, stuff like that, which doesn't need to be in your sausage. So we did find a new processor. It is quite a drive. It's 3 hours away. It's actually in South Carolina. But I am very optimistic about them because looking at their ingredient list, it's all just basic, normal spices. Salt, pepper, garlic, rosemary, like nothing you don't need in there. So we're also going to get bacon back in stock, which would be very exciting. Fingers crossed, that will be our new regular processor for pigs. This is where those chickens are coming from. We've got this mobile coop up here. They pretty much hang out by the coop, especially since we mowed this pasture. They don't have a whole lot of protection from aerial predators anymore, and we do have quite a few hawks out here. It's not often that they'll take a chicken, but they'll try. And we definitely have owls at night. But at night we do lock them up in the coop. They roost up in there, so as long as they're up on these roosts, at night, their feet stay warm and they tolerate the cold just fine. We've got this fence up to kind of encourage them to stay in this area, but also to protect against predators a little bit. And then you can see they are able to just free range. They go wherever they want, which is great. I'd like them to get out here and glean what they can out of the pasture, pick through the ant hills that we've got out here. This is our main rooster. He's a Welsummer. He's beautiful, but he's a big jerk. So if anyone has any tips on how to deal with a dominant rooster, an aggressive rooster, I would love to hear them. I'd really love to keep him. We're hatching quite a few eggs right now, and he's main daddy. But it's just stressful every time you come out to get eggs, he attacks you. It should be enjoyable to come out and do my chicken chores. I shouldn't have to deal with an a-hole. We decided to name him Joffrey. I tend to give like kings or royal names to my roosters. And so we decided to name this guy Joffrey because, well, it suits him and I won't feel bad when I have to kick his ass. We are raising a lot more chicken this year, especially through the winter. Even in years where we have raised kind of a lot of chicken, we have skipped the winter because, well, it just takes a lot of extra electricity and bedding to keep those animals warm. And if you don't keep them properly warmed, you're going to have more losses. Plus, it's a little bit miserable to be outdoors processing chickens when it's freezing out. But we've been doing it. We've been doing a batch a month of about 75 birds. We're doing them in these big chicken tractors, and it's been working really well. We've had to keep them in the brooder probably a week longer than we would during the spring or summer, just so they can get fully feathered out. And we're just watching the weather really closely when we do put them out, so that they have at least a couple nights where it's not totally frigid that they can acclimate to. And then we're bedding down these tractors really, really well. Even though we're moving it every day or two, we're spreading a bale of straw in here pretty much every day as well. And the areas that we're moving them around, that we're rotating them in right now, are an heavy use goat area. You can see my goats watching me right now. They want to know what I'm doing. But this whole area where you can see the hay is scattered about. This was our goat yard attached to our barn for a month or two. When the goats have to be in a certain area for an extended period of time, we rotate that area, and we rotate where the hay bale is. So they spread the waste hay around, which helps enrich the soil. So we're using the chickens to kind of go over this thick layer of hay, scratch through it, turn it essentially so that it can become better compost. As there is some composting action that creates some heat. So they're getting some heat from the ground, and they're getting some more extra insulation from the straw that we're putting down. And then typically in the spring and summer, we want maximum ventilation through this thing. So we just have the one white tarp that covers the top just to keep them dry and shaded. But in the winter, we're adding a lot more tarps. We actually had like the whole side and front covered with a tarp for the really, really cold nights. And in the morning, if you stick your head in there, it would be warm. Like you would feel like the humidity and warmth just from their body heat and respiration getting trapped under all those tarps. So it is possible to raise broilers in the winter, with the caveat that we don't have the most severe winters here. This winter feels a lot colder for us because it's getting in the teens overnight pretty frequently, getting into the 40s during the day. It's not very typical for southeastern North Carolina, but we're managing. It's really not too bad. And honestly, getting some more freezing weather like that is actually really good for like killing off parasites and unwanted bacteria and things like that in your soil. So it has a cleansing effect, if you will. But we will walk over here and see the goats because they're very curious what I'm doing. Hi guys. Yeah. So the goats are still my favorite. Unabashedly my favorite. I'm milking 9 does right now. Pretty much everybody is bred for next season. So we're starting to taper off and dry up a lot of these girls, but we'll have 3 new breeders next season. We'll have Miss Friga over here. We'll have our La Mancha, Rosemary, and Fortune. Cream-colored little girl out there. So those 3 new breeders are all going to deliver first, which will be great. They are all bred to my mini Nubian buck, Phineas. It's the first time we're using him. So I'm excited to see what his babies look like and what they produce going forward. I timed things that way so that I would have a little extra time to spend with the new mamas, and because those are going to be our mini babies. So they will have a month or 2 head start on the others to get some size on them before they have to deal with some big kids out here. I've got 1 more doe left to breed. She came in heat for like half a day this week and I missed it, hoping that she cycles at least 1 more time. But if she doesn't, I will try to just keep her on an extended lactation. That's what I'm doing with my Oberhasli doe Helga, which I've done with her in the past. I can milk her pretty much indefinitely and she'll still produce a good amount every day. And then I did decide not to breed Vivian this year. So Vivian is my OG Nubian. She's one of my original goats out here. She's old. I don't know how old she is. She's still in really good health. I have a little bit of a hard time keeping weight on her, but I've been feeding her extra. She's doing really well through this winter. So I want to keep it that way. I want to keep her healthy through old age. I have a lot of other younger girls that I can breed and milk now. She doesn't need to contribute any more than she already has. She's just going to live out her days as the herd grandma out here. And hopefully she remains her quirky self for many years to come. You're such a good girl. These are some of the little layers that I hatched couple months ago. I've already got them out in this little coop. Hi guys, they're very skittish. Layer hens are very, very skittish until they reach full size, and then they kind of chill out. They are growing exceptionally well, really fast, feathering out really nicely. Very happy with how this crop looks. So we've got Welsumers, Easter eggers, and olive eggers. Actually, mostly olive eggers in this group. Excited to see what their eggs look like. And then I've still got my older flock of chickens. There's 20 or so remaining hens here from the last major flock that we had. We were losing a lot of this flock to predators, and then just they were kind of aging out. So moved them down to the yard. We could refer to this as the yard flock, and they get all the kitchen scraps now because it's really convenient to have them out here. They still give us a few eggs, and then we move them around the yard. They help with bugs and weed control around the house. So we've got some red stars, a couple of American breasts that tend to spend most of their day in the coop, and then a bunch of Easter eggers, a couple Easter egger roosters. They're a happy little group. I need to figure out some names for these roosters. So we've got this pretty white and gold one, and then here we've got this red guy. Yeah, they're both very handsome. Haven't felt inspired to name them as of yet. So if you guys have any good suggestions, send them through. We're down to 2 gooses. The 2 young ones that I hatched last year both ended up being male. We were getting a lot of fighting, especially as Claudette, our Toulouse female, started laying again. So we put them in the freezer, and man, was that bird delicious. It tasted like roast beef, and it makes me want to raise more geese for meat. If they weren't just so loud and annoying, it would be perfect. I still love them. Daryl would be happy with both of these guys too, but I still love them. They're beautiful. Just annoying. Now we still have some Muscovy ducks lingering around, but our flock had gotten really big. We had 30 some ducks in our flock, and it just got decimated by foxes this last summer. So we're actually down to just 2 females and I think 5 or 6 males. We need to harvest some of those drakes and even those numbers up, but we did have a batch of ducklings born. So starting to rebuild that flock and hopefully put some extra predator protection in place for those guys. It's just crazy because they free ranged for years, for like 5 years, and we hardly had any losses to predators. Muscovies are they're really big bodied, they're hard to take, and they're really smart. You know, they know how to fly away and roost up on remote places, but sometimes foxes are smarter. Because it's been so cold, we've had to really insulate our brooder. This plastic sheeting kind of creates a greenhouse effect in there and really helps keep them warm. So they're pretty shy, but we've got 12 adorable little ducklings in there, and they're all doing awesome. So they'll probably stay in this brooder for a couple more weeks. They're almost 2 weeks old. They'll probably stay in here till they're 4 or 5, and then we'll transition them out to our duck house. Doing good. Then we've got the group that I refer to as the adults, or the breeder pigs. Got big old Connor there, our boar, Mel, our Hereford sow, and Amy, our Hereford Hamp cross. I believe both these girls are bred and should be due in early April. Oh. If Mr. Connor did his job right, which I think he did. He knows the assignment. Right, buddy? Yeah. These like 500-600 pound pigs stay pretty warm just from body heat, and then all 3 of them snuggle in their nest. They've got a nest back here that we bed down with straw. They snuggle together there all night and they stay pretty warm. Is it yummy? Good girl. So hopefully 2 more litters from Connor in the spring. And that'll be all the pigs that we breed for the year. Right now, with the amount of pork that we're selling, unless that picks up dramatically, having 2 litters in the spring finish them off in the fall and winter. That works out perfect for us. Well guys, that is what's going on with us. Thank you so much for sticking with the channel. I know it's been a while. We've just been so determined to catch up on all the little projects around here and really improve our business, improve our farm practices, improve the welfare for our animals. And that really needed to be the focus for a while, but I really enjoy making these videos. I hope you enjoy watching them. It's gonna be a lot of lambs. There's gonna be a lot of goat kids very soon. Piglets in April. So there's always plenty to share. And since we are officially in lambing season, I need a little help from you guys. So every year we name all the lambs and goats names that start with the same letter of the alphabet. And this year, 2025, is the year of H names. So I'm gonna need all your best suggestions for names that start with H because the babies are coming. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and I'll see you next time.